Hello, fellow illustrators, art makers, creators, and animators. Exciting news! A fresh new app has just landed, ready to take you to a world filled with movement and magic where you can bring your dreams to life. I'm talking about Procreate Dreams, a new 2D animation app from the makers of Procreate. This new app has expanded my creativity in so many ways, and I know it can do the same for you, even if you have no animation skills at all. I'm Lisa Bardot, and I help people find their creativity through drawing and now animating on the iPad. I've helped millions of people all over the world learn new art making techniques and discover their inner artist. For over a decade, I've been pushing the boundaries of making art on the iPad, and now animation has become an exciting addition to my creative process. For this lesson, we're going to be animating leaves kind of tumbling and floating down from a tree. So we're going to be creating this kind of like falling, tumbling, twirling type motion using the perform feature. And I love this technique because it's so easy to do, but it looks really dynamic. And we're also going to talk about grouping animations and duplicating them and adjusting timing and things like that. Okay, so we've got our Autumn Leaves Dreams project opened up here, and this is all set up and ready for you to animate, but let me show you a little bit about what is in all these tracks. So I'm going to take 3 fingers and swipe up so we can zoom in vertically on our tracks and get a better look. So starting at the top, we have our yellow leaves, each on its own track so that we can animate them individually. So we've got leaf number 1, number 2, and number 3. It's these like 3 solid colored leaves. And then we've got our front foliage, which is just this like orange shape here, our tree trunk. And then we've got the 3 back leaves, which are the solid color leaves here, number 1, number 2, and number 3. We've got the back foliage, and then of course our sky. So that makes up our entire scene. So today we're going to be animating the leaves kind of like tumbling and falling down, twirling around, that sort of thing. So we're going to be doing all of our animations using the performing feature. And let's start with our yellow leaves. So I'm going to zoom in. I always like to scale up vertically so that my timeline is nice and big. And let's make sure we select our front leaf number 1 and move our playhead all the way to the beginning of the track. So to create these kind of like tumbling leaf animation, we're going to be rotating our leaves and then we're going to move them down and we're going to perform all of that. So let's go ahead and enter performing mode. Tap the little circle right there and it should say ready. And then I'm going to zoom in because we're going to rotate first. I want to get a good look at that. And make sure again that your playhead is at the beginning of the timeline. And to rotate, we're just going to tap the corner node and grab the little noodle, the little rotation node, and then just rotate around. It doesn't have to be like a consistent movement. It can go slow and then fast. Kind of the more irregular it is, the more organic it's going to look. And we'll just animate it until it gets to the end of the timeline. Cool. And then I'll zoom back in. And then we're going to move the playhead back to the beginning again, because now we're going to animate it going down the tree like this. So I'm going to zoom all the way out. And then we're going to make it come down and we're going to do kind of like little S motions. So let's go ahead and do it. There we go. So it's spinning as it's tumbling down and kind of going side to side. And this really fun kind of animation. Let's go ahead and tap pause and we will work on our second leaf. So we're going to go to front leaf 2. And for this one, I'm going to do kind of like a back and forth swaying. So make sure the playhead's at the beginning. Tap the corner, grab the little node, little rotation node. And we're going to go back and forth, these big motions. There we go. We probably don't have to animate all the way to the end because it'll go out of frame before it finishes. So let's go back. And now we'll get it going down. And we'll also go kind of back and forth like that. Now, this kind of takes a little bit of practice because this one, you kind of have to time it right to the rotation. So I'm going to undo with a 2-finger tap and try that one again. So it's kind of pointing that way first, so I think I'm going to have it go that way. There we go. That's a little better. So it's kind of just going. You get a feel for the movement, which is really fun with Perform. Okay, let's do number 3. We're going to go to front leaf 3, move our playhead to the beginning, and we're going to do some rotations. And maybe this one will do like a slow kind of rotation. Nice and slow. If you do kind of like an oval shape, it'll be slow and then it'll like speed up as it turns. So you can kind of play around with what shapes you draw to create different types of kind of rotations. All right, so we've got that one spinning. And I'll zoom out so we can animate it coming down. And we'll just go, I like that one going in front of the trunk. You really see it. All right, so now we've got our 3 leaves coming down, and we'll just do a quick preview with 4-finger tap so we can see how things are looking so far. But I think those look great. So let's go ahead and go back, and we will animate our back leaves here. Tap back, pause, and let's go down until we find back leaf number 1. And zoom or scroll all the way to the beginning of the timeline. And we'll zoom in on this guy. And for this one, I'm going to do the swaying motion, but maybe not quite so big so it doesn't go so far to the side. So I'm going to do like smaller motions back and forth. Nice and slow, like that. Almost doing like a figure 8 with my Apple Pencil. Okay, good. And now we'll animate that one coming down too. So that one's not like going back and forth quite as much because of those smaller movements, but I think it still looks good, especially when it's grouped with all the other ones. And let's do the next back leaf. So let's go to back leaf 2. All right, so for this one, we'll do like a spin, and then maybe we'll like stop and go the other way. We'll see how that looks. All right, it's pretty good. Let's go back, and we will animate that falling down. Good. I think it went down before it went the other way, but that's okay. Really looks really good. Okay, one more leaf to do. And we'll animate this one spinning. Maybe we'll do kind of a faster spin. Almost really irregular. Woo. All right, that's probably enough. And then we'll animate that one coming down. Good. All right, let's take a look at how that's all looking. Awesome. We have a lot of variation in the way that the leaves are coming down, and I think the more variation you add, the more natural this looks. Let's go ahead and tap back. And now let's use what we've already animated to make this even more full with falling leaves. So let's go up to the top and find our 3 front leaf tracks. So let's go ahead and we'll go into edit timeline mode, and we're going to select these 3 leaf tracks. And then we're going to tap and hold on one of them and choose group. And now they're in a group. And now let's get out of our edit mode, tap and hold on that group, go to track options and choose duplicate. So now we have 2 copies. Okay. And we can do something as simple as moving this down the timeline a little bit like that. Maybe a little bit further. Now, the only problem with doing it this way is you can see up here, there's no leaves, and then boop, there's leaves again. So that might not bother you, but if it does, we can do something different. Instead of leaving it where it's at, we can just move our animation group up so that it's coming into frame. And then should animate down. Now, the only problem with that is they kind of get stuck where we didn't quite animate it low far enough down, but we can fix that. Let's just go into the group and find those 3 leaves. Nope, not that one. This one is one of them. And then we'll just scroll back until like right before it stops. And then we'll go to performing mode and just continue the movement. Make it go down. So now, there we go. And then the other one would be this one. So it kind of stops right there. So let's start here. And then we'll just continue the movement. Ta-da! Like it never happened. Okay, so let's go ahead and also duplicate our back leaves. So let's go down here and we're gonna go into edit mode, select these 3, tap and hold, choose group, out of edit mode, tap and hold, and choose track options, duplicate. And we can do pretty much the same thing that we just did. We can move it down the timeline a little bit. We can, thankfully, this one doesn't have the same problem quite as much. Like they do kind of just like start to appear there. Maybe I'll scooch it over a little more. But we can move this up just a little bit so it's behind, you know, behind the tree. There, the foliage. Now we have all those coming in. You can slide back and forth. Maybe we'll move it down a little bit more. So those ones happen a little later. And we only have a tiny problem right there with that one, just like the little tip of it is hanging out. So let's open up that group and find that one and just continue the movement. There we go. So we'll go right there, go to perform, and then just continue it on down. Super easy to fix. So now let's go ahead and see how this is looking in full screen. We're going to take 4 fingers and tap. We can tap the back button to start at the beginning and play. Yay, look at all those fun leaves that we just made very easily, especially when you start duplicating them, and you could keep duplicating them to keep the leaves coming down as long as you wanted. I hope you had fun learning how to do that beautiful kind of like tumbling, twirling, falling leaf animation. That one's a lot of fun, and it's a really versatile type of animation because you can use it for other things that might fall. So if you have snow falling, it would probably go in the same pattern, or if you have like maybe a feather like slowly coming down, anything that kind of like falls and does this type of motion, that sort of animation would do well for. So I hope you had fun with that one.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos.